Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. We are officially less than 2 weeks away from the national election. It's going to be the national election between former President Donald Trump and Kamala Harris for the presidency. But not only is it a presidential election year, it is also an election year that will determine the majority in the United States Senate and in the House of Representatives. That means that there are three national elections going on: one for the House, one for the Senate, one for the presidency. Today, I'm going to be going over a United States Senate election prediction and explaining to you who I believe will take the majority come January 3rd, 2025. With all of that being said, I don't want to keep you too long and I want to get right into this election prediction. So let's start off with our safe Democrat races. Our safe Democrat races include, of course, the states, not the state of Nevada. I know my computer is lagging slightly. States of Washington and California, as well as Minnesota, where I believe Amy Klobuchar is running. The state of New York, not the state of Maryland, of course. We would assume that it would be the state of Maryland historically, but not at the moment. The state of Delaware, as well as a lot of these northeastern states, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Vermont, will all be safe, as well as the state of Maine. Angus King is running. He caucuses as an independent. He caucuses with the Democrats, but he runs as an independent. But at the end of the day, he is a Democrat, if in name, if not in general. With that being said, let's also now characterize our safe Republican states. Now, from the get-go, you could see that the Republicans were already at an advantage with respect to the safe races. I know a lot of people think that Nebraska is competitive. For the sake of this prediction, I just don't think it will be. The state of West Virginia, because Joe Manchin is not running for re-election, is going to be a safe Republican state. So all in all, Republicans already at 48 safe seats compared to Democrats at 39. This already puts the Democrats at such a significant disadvantage. And this is why in many aspects, Republicans actually screwed up back in 2022. They should have picked up a lot more Senate races than they did, especially with John Fetterman in Pennsylvania winning that state, as well as Jackie Rosen, I believe, or Catherine Cortez Masto, I can't remember, retaining Nevada, Carrie Lake or Blake Masters losing in Arizona. A lot of races that could have won or were winnable for Republicans, but they ended up floundering. If they actually won those races, they could be in a scenario where at the moment Donald Trump is favored to win the presidency. They have a 60 plus foolproof, filibuster proof majority in the Senate. However, it's less likely for that to happen this time around because of the fact that they did not pick up significant seats last time around. Let's get into our likely Democrat races. This is going to be the state of New Mexico. Sorry, I forgot to mention the state of Hawaii as a likely Democrat race, as well as the state of Maryland at this point. Although Larry Hogan is the former governor and very popular across the state, Angela also Brooks has been polling very well in the new polls. She's up 14 in the most recent one. This is a national race. This is not a statewide race. 10 Republicans do tend to perform a little bit better when you have moderates like Hogan running in Maryland or Charlie Baker in Massachusetts or in Vermont. But in national Senate races, it does tend to favor Democrats, especially in these solid blue states. Now, anything can happen, and there is a possibility where Governor Hogan does pull off an upset. It is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. To continue, we have some other races to project. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Excuse me. Sorry. Some likely Republican states. There's only going to be one likely Republican state. That's the state of Florida with Rick Scott. Trump is definitely going to carry the coattails in the state of Florida. I see it very difficult for Democrats to win there in general. With respect to Virginia, I'm leaving that out of the conversation because I do think Hong Kong is a relatively good competitor against incumbent Senator Tim Scott. Excuse me, not Tim Scott. Tim Kaine, who was Hillary Clinton's VP running mate. But, here we go. It'll lean in favor of Tim Kaine at the end of the day. That's going to be the only state, actually, besides the state of Arizona. Carrie Lake, of course, underpolling significantly against Ruben Gallego. I don't think she's going to win in Nevada, Arizona at this point in time. Lean Republican states. The state of Texas is going to lean Republican, as well as the state of Montana. John Tester is going to lose his seat. He hung on in 2018. That was a blue wave year. This time around, it's not going to happen. Let's speak really Trump's coattails, as well as the fact that Tester is not too popular in the state of Montana at this point in time. 51 seats. Already, Republicans take the majority in the United States Senate, as well as the state of Ohio. Sherrod Brown is also going to lose his race in Ohio. I know a lot of Democrats really believe that they have a chance at keeping the Senate this time around. It's just not going to happen. Even if Trump loses the election, the odds of that happening are very low. So for that matter, Bernie Moreno will win the Senate race in the state of Ohio. Now we have the four closest races remaining: the state of Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. A lot of incumbents, beside Michigan, I believe, are at risk for losing their Senate seats. At this point in time, Sherrod Brown loses his Senate seat and John Tester. Let's get into our tilt Democrat races. At the end of the day, I believe that Nevada is going to tilt in favor of Jackie Rosen, who I believe is running. If it's not Catherine Cortez Masto, I always forget. Yes, Jackie Rosen against um, the Republican in the state likely is going to win there. Now, we have recently the Rust Belt states, the three Rust Belt states, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, have narrowed up in the polls. Previously, they'd been considered lean or likely in favor of Democrats. However, with Trump gaining in the polls, it does seem like the Republicans are at a little bit more of an advantage in this area of the polls. With that being said, I think that Bob Casey is narrowly going to win his Pennsylvania Senate seat. However, I do believe that Tammy Baldwin is actually going to lose her Wisconsin Senate seat, as well as Republicans are going to flip the state of Michigan. I know you guys are probably sitting at your desks thinking that this is a bold prediction. However, keep in mind, look at my presidential election prediction. I think that Trump's going to win the presidency. If Trump wins the presidency, there is a very high probability that a lot of Republicans who are running in congressional races and in the Senate races and in governor races are going to ride his coattails. They're not going to get as many votes as him, but he's going to help them propel to win their races. For that reason, I do see states like Wisconsin and Michigan flipping. However, if Harris does end up winning the presidency, then you'll see a scenario where Republicans only have a 52-48 majority in the Senate. But in my prediction, Trump wins, and that is likely the scenario at this point in time. Anything can change in the next 2 weeks. But this is my Senate election prediction 2 weeks out from the national election. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos in the near future.